saying is there's riches and niches. So like find the niche in that space that's relevant to your audience, build a piece of content that is interesting to them that you can probably SEO, drive traffic that's super high up the funnel that they'll read, have a checklist. Like that's another way to think about it.
Well, hello and welcome to the J. Sterling Hughes Show, where we share how we have built our family law practice from 0 to 25 attorneys and $15 million in revenue, all in the past 10 years. And my purpose here is to document what's working and what's not working with hopes that you can take that and you can recontextualize it and shorten your success curve. I have back with me my co-founder and partner, Tony Karls. Tony and I started Sterling Lawyers about 10 and a half years ago. Tony today leads Rocket Clicks, our digital marketing agency, which handles all of our marketing at Sterling Lawyers and for other law firms as well. And so he's built our entire machine that we have for attracting the attention of potential clients. And he discovered a huge gap in our practice that he shored up, and it has been very successful for us. And we're going to share that with you today. So Tony, take it away.
Sure. So the big problem, I think, this pertains to most businesses, even the ones we work with here at Rocket Clicks, a lot of the big first opportunity is looking at offers. And why it's an issue is a lot of times, most businesses, what they go from is you don't know me at all to spend a bunch of money with me. Like there's just one step. I don't know you to spend a bunch of money. And that puts a lot of onus on the salesperson to build all of the trust required to make that leap. There's another way to do it, and the benefits are significant for your marketing team, for your sales team, for the general health of your business and your whole pipeline.
Yeah.
And it's building scaled offers.
So in the law firm context, you're talking about, in our firm, you would see that someone would come to us and they would know a little bit about us. And then first thing out of our mouths after we listened to their story was, okay, your case is going to cost you 10 grand for your first stage.
Yeah.
And we had to take them from, I don't even know if I'm going to want to hire a lawyer, to that in one conversation, which is really tough to do. You shorten that from a huge mega leap to a couple steps or a step.
A lot of firm owners want is they'll come to us and they'll say, I need to get more traffic on these particular keywords, and they're all at the bottom of the funnel. And what we know based on all of our research and client interviews and everything we've done at the law firm is the person that's researching the process, it's going to take them 2 to 3 years before they call you. And the terms they search for when they call you are the really expensive ones that are going to cost you $30 to $70 per click. That's really expensive. It's where everybody is in the marketplace. You should expect to pay a lot of money and have an amazing sales team that answers the phone every single time, always smiling, and they have perfect conversations. And I'm sure this describes your intake process.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No one.
So instead, let's not rely 90% of our business on this bucket because we don't have offers. We can have offers and we can start way up here, way up in the unaware bucket. So there's 5 stages of awareness. Most of us all focus on the bottom. We can start way up on top.
So those 5 stages up top is you're not aware at all to you're mildly aware, all the way down to your responsive and intensive.
Most aware, exactly. Yeah. So what we can do is what are some of these offers? So a lot of what we do is the Sterling site is we have different free resources that are on there. So those are calculators, those are forms, it's a lot of calculators and forms. That would be, I would put way at the top. Most useless. We don't even trade information. The trade we're making. So one of the way to think about offers is, what am I trading in this exchange? So when we trade our calculators and forms, all we're trading is a data pixel. The client doesn't even know we're doing it. You're getting free information. We are getting a data pixel for us to do other marketing. Our next scaled offer is, these are recorded webinars. So we record webinars on 5 different series of topics that run every single day at noon. It's another offer. So clients can sign up for it, but in that exchange, we get their name and their phone number and their email address. Now I can target you in different ways. Our third one is a live workshop that we do monthly with an attorney where we go through our process and you can actually ask questions at the end. And that's another offer. Our third offer is a much smaller group, like 1 to 3-ish, is a group consult with one of our lead salespeople. I think that's done every single day at noon as well. You get more information Again, we're going to gather more information from you, and we can continue targeting you in lots of different ways. And we're just like going down this trade of information, and we're giving you value on purpose for free, so you start to trust us. We haven't asked you for anything yet. We're just giving you stuff. And our small little asks are like, what's your name? What's your email? We're not violating it. We're not spamming the heck out of them. We're not obsessively calling them. We're not doing anything with it. So like, we're building trust all along the way. We're building trust. That's what our job is. So once they call us or fill out a form, another offer is a consult, one-on-one consult with our intake paralegals, where they're going to, that's free. It's another free offer where they're going to explain more and more intimately with you one-on-one than one-to-many. Or you can pay for a consult with an attorney. So now we're going to actually start transacting with dollars. So that's all of our pre-consultation up to consultation offers. So I think we have like 7 or 8 of them. And what we can do with all of those is continue to execute on different platforms using name, email, phone number, and physical address to target people on different platforms. So we continue to like nurture them down the funnel. And all we did was start way on top. What happens with my house during a divorce? Can I get 50-50 custody? All these research topics way up here, not divorce lawyer. It's way cheaper, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, and all we're doing is we're nurturing them down the funnel, and they're not all getting here. They're circumventing it because we're nurturing them down the funnel.
Yeah.
So like we're building brand equity and trust and value along the way. And then once we get to the sales process, we also have skill offers there. So we have one-on-one coaching sessions that we'll do. We'll have limited scope offers that we'll do. We'll have full representation offers that we'll do. We'll have multiple partner offers that we do. And we'll have a red herring offer, which is Jeff Hughes will manage your case with one of our partners, which is going to cost you $125,000 per stage. I don't think we've sold one of those yet. It's likely to be Elon Musk when he gets a divorce in Wisconsin. It's probably not going to happen. But the point is, Jeff runs lots of businesses. He can actually add value in that circumstance. Be working with one of our managing partners, but it's a red herring offer. We have it on the sheet so that we can actually run a real sales process in that consultation. Yeah. Show different prices, different price ranges. If you're doing sales well, what you're doing is fact finding. You're grabbing information from them. You're saying, here's a potential thing that would work well. You always sell up from that point, and then you sell down to validate the one that you originally picked. That's why you have a red herring on there. But what it does is it has the client shop with you instead of your one offer, and I'm going to do all my shopping in the marketplace. Let's just shop with me. Just shop with Sterling. Stop shopping everywhere else because they have everything I need.
Mm-hmm. What have you seen as we've implemented this? Are there spots where clients are falling out? Or have you seen just a general progression through it? How's it actually played out, I guess, what I'm driving at here?
So I think where we've focused mostly is, I would say, like mid-funnel. What we're really good at is driving people down through the funnel using all the remarketing tactics and to brand the firm and keep the name in front of them along the way. Yeah. Unless you're in PI and you have the budget to spend lots of money on billboards and go do traditional marketing where you're either on billboards or you're running commercials on sports are really good opportunities, but they're also extraordinarily expensive because you have an attentive audience. Most TV is not attentive, so it's not great placements. But if you get attentive audience, it's fantastic. News talk radio is really good, attentive audience. Any player you can get attentive audience. Podcasts, great attentive audience because they're actively listening, not passively. We don't do a lot of that. So what we do is we're very surgical about who we market to and using all of those offers to continue to push people down the funnel have been good opportunities. When we launched, I think what we launched was just a workshop, not recorded webinars. That was also too intense an offer because it's too personal. So like we went up and did recorded webinars where people didn't have to feel like they were logging in and be visually seen and had to interact. That went away. So we saw more come in with that. Mm-hmm. And we're launching a book. We're going to have more interaction with that than we do the recorded webinars because that's even less in that space. So we see really good response from our calculators. But again, we're trading pixel for usage. We're not doing anything else other than that.
Yeah. So for an attorney in a small firm that doesn't have a lot of resources yet, how would you coach them to build a scaled offers process? If there's just 1 or 2 people there, for example, where they can take advantage of this principle?
I would start with something that you're passionate about that's nuanced in there, in the law that you're working on. Like if you're down in Florida, valuing homes that are on the coast would be interesting to go after. Like what to do with those homes and how to value them during the process of divorce. And you probably need to connect with like a real estate person, but like you're gonna create an asset that doesn't exist in the marketplace. That would be more leaning towards a high value client. It's going to be of interest. It's going to be very specific. That makes sense. Like creating
content that's very specific to start to build trust with the ideal client, which is someone that's affluent, for example, that'd be interested to know how to value a home on a coast.
Correct. Buy the other person out. And like a lot of times, unless they're newly acquired, they've been in the family for a long time and they're worth a lot more than people have disposable income to purchase.
So that's free. They can go get that information on your website and then building up from there. So just keep riffing on the family lawyer, for example, in Florida. What would be the next step up where they could trade now for information, and then the next step before they get to a full rep? How would that look?
Yeah, I would keep going down a vein that is of interest to you because it's going to be easier for you to create the content. That's super valuable. So like the saying is there's riches and niches. So like find the niche in that space that's relevant to your audience, build a piece of content that is interesting to them that you can probably SEO, drive traffic that's super high up the funnel that they'll read, have a checklist. Like that's another way to think about it. How do I know if this is, the house one's going to be hard for me to like continue going down the funnel, but like a good one to start with would be like what to ask attorneys in a consult room. Like here's your checklist. Here's your interview checklist for you as the client that you should be asking attorneys. Like make them hard questions.
Yeah.
That would be another good one. Forms in all the states. Those are interesting. A lot of times in Wisconsin and in Illinois, depending on the county, the forms required are different. So like, how are you helping facilitate that process? Because people don't generally want to do this on their own because they don't want to screw it up. They choose to do it on their own because they're afraid to reach out and they haven't developed trust in that relationship yet. And if you can jump over that hurdle by just helping them. So like I would focus on a niche piece of content, develop, a form or a checklist for that you're giving away. That's probably where you're transacting a more specific pixel. Then you're probably wanting to do a recorded workshop on that. You could do a webinar on that. And that kind of gets you a couple different phases in. So like I would ramp up or de-escalate the intimacy of the interaction. It's a good way to think about it in the family space. So if you think about like reading something on the website is the least intimate thing an attorney and a client are going to do, right? They don't even know each other at that point. So like the closer you get to an intimate one-on-one or one-to-many conversation, that's where you're going to find all the friction points. And then how are you remarketing to them? How are you picking those people back up and helping them forward?
So just from a practical implementation, you do the content, you create the next level of content where maybe you trade for something. Next level would be maybe a free webinar, recorded webinar. Yep. Maybe the next step would be a consult, a coaching consult or something, and then a full rep after that where they actually retain. So that's sort of a scaling in.
Maybe it's something simple like there's a lot of queries on what it's like to be in the courthouses. They're pretty
simple videos like what do you wear to court?
Simple. Yeah. What do you wear to court in, pick the county. Yeah. Do a video on it. Create a checklist for it. Like just like give away. It seems innocuous, but it's like, all right. Yeah, you're caring for me because like I'm scared to go to court. I've never been to court. I'm sure this is different than traffic court. Like that building's way bigger. When I go to traffic court, it's just some little offshoot of the library. So it's different.
Good. Well, this has been great, Tony. Thank you for coming on and talking through this. Is there anything that I haven't asked you think would be helpful to our listeners around scaled offers?
Nothing specific. What I'd encourage is continue to just give value through the process and don't expect anything. I think Hormozy does this really, really well in his marketing. It's like he doesn't ask for anything. So, because once you start asking for something, now you've created a transaction, a buyer and seller relationship versus like, I'm just giving you information that's valuable. Like you should know this. So like the more of that we can do, the easier it's going to be to go from like, I don't know you to spend your money with me. Cause like you've done like all of these little things in between. And now this is way less scary. It's like trust. I've developed trust. So there's going to be a lot of different things. I'd focus on like the specifics of your area, what's unique, what can be daunting, what can be confusing, those types of things.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you so much for coming on.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff.